All right. Part three. Part three, we're going to talk about clean energy, how you do the how. This is very important to me. Um, I remember I'm in Hawaii with my wife on vacation, and we're there because we had free flights because my family was in the airline business, and my someone else is paying for our condo, right? And so we're in Hawaii, but we don't have a lot of money. And you're like, ooh, look at this timeshare presentation. They're going to give you like a free this and free that and all sorts of free stuff just for sitting through a presentation. And I have fairly high sales resistance. It doesn't really bother me. My wife is very empathetic and intuitive. And so we sit through this timeshare presentation. And afterwards, my wife says to me, I think she was pretty serious. She goes, if you ever make me sit through one of those things again, I will divorce you. Because it was so painful for her, right? So often people do network marketing the wrong way. Like, I'll tell you an interesting story, right? Because I've had a decent amount of success, and I have a lot of Facebook friends who are also in network marketing. I get hit up a lot to join people's deals and look at them a lot. And I'm always curious. People message me. They're like, "Oh, I have something I want you to check out." I'm like, "Look," I go, "I'm always curious. Send me a 5-minute or under video, right? Because my time is precious to me." So this woman hits me up, and I'm like, "Look, send me a short video." She goes, "Well, you can't do it. You need to get on a Zoom." And I'm like, I barely know you. Who are you to think you can ask for an hour of my time? Like, I don't even know you. I'm like, I do not have time for this. She's like, well, when would you have time? I'm like, maybe in 2 months. I'm seriously busy here. And she made some snide comment about, really? It's going to take you 2 months to have time? So I went to her profile and I unfriended her. I'm like, we do not need to be friends here if you're that rude. Like, this is insane. And she saw that I unfriended her and she was massively offended. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to have to block you. Right? It's like, so I see people doing the business this way. I'm like, who taught you how to do this way? This is unbelievable. Like, you hear stories about people being invited over to friends for dinner. And this happened to me personally. Oh yeah, someone invites you over for dinner. And guess what? At dinner, they spring and by the way, we want to give you a presentation for Amway. And we're like, oh my God. Like, talk about ruining friendships and relationships. That's insane. I remember another guy. He's like, I really like this guy. He's like, hey, let's have coffee or lunch sometime. I'm like, cool. Yeah, great. But it turns out it was just to present me his deal in network marketing. I'm like, that's uncool. Why would you do that this way, right? Unless you're a hardcore salesperson, you don't actually like doing that, right? You're pushing yourself out of your comfort zone to do it. The person on the other end certainly doesn't like being the receiving end of it. And that hurts friendships and relationships moving forward. This is not a good thing. How do you expect to do this for long enough to build a decent business? It's like mind-blowing to me, right? So when one of the big problems for people in moving forward and building a business is it doesn't feel right. Why? Because they think as they're talking to people that they are talking to people for their own benefit, that it's kind of a selfish process. And it's like, let's really reframe that a bit, right? A successful network marketing business is like life transforming for somebody. People need that, right? If on top of that you've mashed it with a life-changing nutritional supplement or a frequency device or something like that, it's like, man, what you have can change people's lives. What if you change your belief and perspective that I'm talking to this person because I like you and I care about you and I have something that almost have a responsibility to tell you about, right? I heard someone say once, they go, don't be guilty of the sin of the desert. That's where you know where the water is and you don't tell everybody, right? So if we go into it with a different attitude of like, look, I have something amazing and I don't want you to find out later that I never told you about this, right? And if you're not interested, it's no problem. But I just don't want to be rude. Does that make sense? Right? Now it totally changes the energy. You understand? It's like, I'm doing this because I care about you, not because I want to talk you into something. And if you're not interested, that's fine, right? Because understand this, unsolicited sales or health advice, unsolicited, is the most unwelcome advice out there, okay? So what we want to do in sharing with people, we want to create a very safe space. Again, the easier you are to say no, the more likely people are to say yes to you. Okay, I'm not telling someone about it because I need them to say yes. Okay, I have something amazing, and if you're not interested, that's okay, right? This is one reason why I will answer anyone's questions if they're genuinely curious and interested. I will, whatever it takes, though. I will not, overcome someone's objections. You understand what I'm saying? So if someone says to me, Steve, I can't join or sign up because last Tuesday I ran out of peanut butter. I'm like, cool. That's tragic. I totally understand, right? I'm not. Someone years ago told me this. She goes, Steve, we're not in the convincing business. Does that make sense? Why? 30 years of experience, I will tell you, the more effort it takes to get someone into your business, the less likely they are to do much with the business, okay? It's like, man, when someone comes to me and they're like, look, so-and-so, they need this clinical study and that, and they have the objection to this, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, why are you wasting time with these people, right? The best distributors I've ever had in my business, they looked at it quickly. They're like, oh yeah, I've been looking for something like this. Bam, thank you so much, right? Those are the people I'm looking for, right? Where they appreciate you talking to them about it, right? So we're going to tell you how to present it in a very simple way that's enjoyable for both of you, okay? Anyway, so we're going to share from service, not from need. We're going to recruit from peace, not pressure. And we're being attached to the outcome makes people feel unsafe, right? So here's a thing to understand. My value and my identity are not dependent on my personal performance, what people think of me, or how institutions honor me. So when I go into talking to somebody about my opportunity or product, whether they say yes or no doesn't change my value, right? So there's no potential shame. So I've got really nothing to lose. And one of my highest values is to be wholehearted, right? And to make sure that everyone has an opportunity to find out about it. Does that make sense? So anyways, that's all for section 3. On to section 4.